Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to 9 Barrow HQ.
Welcome back.
This is not Lighthouse Theatre, Poole, as you can probably tell. But we do like to welcome everybody in, kind of personally.
Intro.
Yeah, a little intro, a little personal hello before we get on to the good stuff. Oh my goodness. Have we been looking forward to this? I know we say that every
single time, but we genuinely do look forward to seeing you again, to putting a show on for you. Yes. And yeah, we've been working up to this particular point in the year.
It does. It really feels like a build-up. Like there's been a steady ramping up of complexity, and now it's culminated in a 5-piece band with 4 members of crew, 2 days at the theatre. We'll let the other John and Jay tell you all about that.
But hopefully you think of this as the jewel in the crown of our 2020 concert that we've been bringing to you this year.
It feels like a pretty fitting end for what's been a very strange but
utterly bizarre,
but quite incredible year. Mm-hmm. So we really think you're going to enjoy it. And I think without further ado,
shall we head over there?
I think we should probably hand over to the boys over at Lighthouse Poole.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
We're at the Lighthouse Theatre in Poole, and we have a band with us.
How amazing is this? We are so excited to be here. Why are we here? Well, we had a tour booked with these guys in March.
You know what happened.
Yeah, and then we rescheduled it. We moved heaven and earth to reschedule it for October.
And you know what happened there as well.
So here we are. We just couldn't let it go. I mean, we put so much work in. These guys worked so hard on the arrangements for no one to actually get to see the gig. I don't think so, everybody. So here we are. We'll introduce these beautiful people in a moment. But should we play a song first?
Let's.
How about a song about looking to the future with hope? This is Summer Fires.
Dancing flames of summer fires. The dancing flames of summer fires. You jump high, but I jump higher. We'll dance tonight across the fire. You jump high, but I jump higher. We'll dance tonight across the fire. Beneath the ox, winding track, until we see the outline black of the village church. It's all our spot. Walk that beast around the fire. Walk that beast around the fire.
Summer Fires, everybody. Oh my goodness, it's so good to play with these boys again. We've not played with them for 6 months. We had our last rehearsal in February. No, 9 months.
It was a long time ago.
9 months ago.
We distinctly remember being in our living room at the time, sort of looking at what was happening on the news, going, well, if we did have to cancel, what would we do? And, yeah.
But we're sure it won't happen. This will amount to nothing, everybody. Oh, but look, should we introduce the guys?
I think we should. I think over here we have Lee Mackenzie on the cello.
You're going to have to clap yourselves, boys.
We can clap you too. Yeah. We have got John Parker on the double bass. And all the way over there, we've got Evan Carson on the percussion, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to be here with you.
Was that awkward? Maybe it was a little awkward. I don't know. But
maybe we made it more awkward than it needed to be.
Strictly needed to be. Anyway, moving on.
So look, we're going to sing you a song inspired by Cumbria. And this is a song called The Sea. And if you've seen us before, you'll probably know this one because it's a pretty old nine-barrel song, to be honest. Inspired by a place called Hard Knot, the Hard Knot Pass in particular, which supposedly is Britain's most challenging road to drive. I guess that all depends on what car you're going up it in, to be honest. But this is about it's about a time in the history of the Roman Empire where the Romans were beginning to pull out of Britannia to deal with all of the strife they had at the center of the empire. And the 500 horsemen who had originally been conscripted into the Roman legions because their homeland had been invaded, and they were sent off to go and fight for the Roman legions somewhere where they couldn't rebel, which in this case was a windswept Cumbrian hillside rather than their homeland of what is now Croatia. And they were some of the last people stationed in Britain. And I guess this is a song really about their hopes and dreams of one day getting to return to their families. So this is called The Sea.
We traveled the land, watching our hub with fog-cap in hand. On nights there were stars, we slept in the cave, away from the sky, and in sight of the waves. Soldiers they came with short sword and shield, cutting us down in the dust and the field. Those who were left were sent riding forth towards rain, towards rock, to watch over the north. These rivers will always remain. Now we're leaving, we're lost to be free. Southeast to our homes, the warmth and the sea. The sea, oh the sea, oh the sea, sea. Say we built our new homes. 400 leagues left our families alone. We garrisoned the mountains, we garrisoned the cold. We think of our wives and our children grow old. We came here with horses, 500 strong. South of the wall, the journey was long. In heather and bracken, we look to the past. Winter is coming, and we are the last. The empire, it crumbles and we freeze in the rain. These mountains, these rivers will always remain. Now we're leaving with hopes to be free. Southeast to our homes, the warmth and the sea. Sea, oh the sea, oh the sea. The sea, everybody. It's amazing. I mean, with all these cameras surrounding us, I'm a bit worried this one's so close. It's going to catch my hands shaking slightly because, believe it or not, I mean, we've said it before, actually, for our last gig in the church. Playing to an empty room has never been so nerve-wracking, to be honest. This is proper kind of seat of the pants stuff, guys.
Seat of the immaculately ironed pants, should I say. But,
we expect nothing less from these boys.
Nothing less. Fine socks as well.
We've topped and tailed these songs once each. That means we've kind of run the beginning, we've run the ending, and we are just kind of going for it, which is truly, truly terrifying. But how about we move on? Should we sing a song from the new album?
Let's.
I think we should do that.
We've got a new album coming out, ladies and gents. I think we are due to be releasing it in March. So, nice little bit of news for you there.
Not long now.
Not long
now. It's pretty exciting. But this is actually, it's a cover that's going to be on the album by a guy called Patrick Wolf. And if you've seen our live shows any time over the last couple of years, you might well have heard this song because we absolutely love it. And it's called Tinmouth. Skewed
this constant yearning for great love and learning, for the winds to carry me free. So when the birds fly south, reach up and hold their tails, pull up and down our view, bridle the autumn gales, down to the burning cliffs or to the unrelenting roar, to marry the untold blisses and anchor this lost soul. From my window I saw two birds lost at sea. I caught our reflection in that silent tragedy, but with hope prevailing I drew galleon sailing, if full sail bid away free. Oh, so when the birds fly south, reach up and hold their tails, pull up and down our view, bridle the autumn gales. I give you my hand, the fingers unfold to heaven forever hold, to marry the untold blisses and anchor this lost soul. Lost soul. Timoth, everybody. Oh, I've got a dog and a good dog too, and it keeps him in me keeping, for to catch those hares who run by night while the gamekeepers lie asleep. My dog and me went out one night for to learn some education. Up jumped a hare and away she ran, right into some large plantation. She had not gone so very far before something stopped her running. Oh, and oh, she loudly cried, "Stop a minute, your uncle's coming." Oh, I took out my little penknife and quickly I did punch her. She turned out one of the female kind. How glad am I caught her. I picks her up and I smooths her down and I puts her in me keeping. I says to me dog, it's time to be going while the gamekeepers lie asleeping. Oh, Wiggley, my dog did go back into the town. We took that hare to a labouring man and we sold it for a crown. We went into some public house and there we got quite well low, for we spent that crown and another one too. Don't you think I'm a good-hearted fellow? Oh, I've got a dog and a good dog too, and it keeps him in me keeping, for to catch those hares that run by night, while the gamekeepers lie a-sleeping.
Thank you.
While gamekeepers lie sleeping. My goodness, if you need to take a swallow or a breath in the middle of that, there is absolutely no room for it whatsoever. And unfortunately, I did. You probably caught that in the middle. I think we're going to have a bit of a changeover. If you've caught our other live streams, they've been slightly unceremonious, our changeover, because there's about half a foot of room.
Cramped quarters in our
This one,
concerts. Yeah.
much more.
Oh, so much room for activities.
We're going to sing you Gather It In, which is a harvest-inspired song, which I suppose on the surface of it seems a little bit inappropriate for a gig that's going out in December. But the thing is, you don't have to go too far back through history to a time when the harvest was not mechanized, I suppose is the word, and that it was people-driven. And it was people from all parts of the community, from the very oldest to the very youngest, all pulling together for this common goal of bringing the harvest home. That's what it used to be called, Harvest Home. And so this is about that final day of the harvest, as they bring in those final sheaves, and then have a pretty good knees up at the farmhouse later that evening. So this is Gather It In.
Oh, when the weeds are ripe and the harvest begin, go to the field and gather it in. The leaves on the breeze and the sun on our skin. Go to the fields and gather it in. When the heather bells ring and the rowan is red, it's down to the fields, to the harvest we'll tread. Past overgrown hedgerows and fruit-laden boughs, we'll come to the farm through an archway of flowers. Yesterday evening, while the harvest moon shine, we worked in its light and the hooks we did grind. Outside stood a front and children behind, away to the cornfields to reap and to buy. When the wheats are ripe and the harvest begins, we'll go to the fields and we'll gather it in. Leaves on the breeze and the sun on our skin. Go to the fields, gather it in. When our wheat's in oats and barley abound, success to the workers who plough through the ground. And from the last sheaf of corn, Dolly will bring a home for the spirit until the next spring. When the wheats are ripe and the harvest begins, we'll go to the fields and we'll gather it in. Leaves on the breeze and the sun on our skin. Go to the fields, gather it in. comes onto the farmhouse rustic. We'll have a good supper and drink the strong beer, wishing the farmer such blessings in life, and drinking health unto him and his wife. When the wheat's ripe and the harvest begins, we'll go to the fields and we'll gather it in. Leaves on the breeze and the sun on our skin. Go to the fields and we'll gather it in. When the wheat's ripe and the harvest begins, we'll go to the fields and we'll gather it in. Leaves on the breeze and the sun on our skin. Go to the fields, gather it in.
That was a nice quick changeover.
That was, yeah, smooth.
So I think we're going to. I was going to say we're going to give Evan a break, and he's off. He's gone. There you go. If you go and have if he can make a really quick cup of tea, because this song is about 3.5 minutes long. We're going to sing you the Hour of the Blackbird, the 9-barrow quartet for one song this half. I mean, March was. Well, it was a pretty rubbish time, wasn't it, for most things, but perhaps for wildlife. I mean, there was a moment one morning where in the heart of lockdown, nobody was going to work, nobody was using their cars. You could step outside, and the bird song in the dawn chorus was just remarkable.
It was wonderful.
And we actually, if you've seen our online gigs before, you'll know we recorded the dawn chorus in our back garden, and you can't hear a single car. You can hear the odd drip of water landing on a plastic bag, which I'd left to the side, which is a bit irritating, to be honest. But other than that, beautiful, beautiful bird song. And this is a song about, birds singing, in particular blackbirds, who apparently on March afternoons, and this was very, very evident at lockdown, March afternoons, male blackbirds do sing loudly and raucously to win a mate and mark out their territory.
And we read an article that described it as the Hour of the Blackbird, and we thought it sounded like a good song title. So
usually we only have kind of, well, I guess 4 blackbirds if you count Jay and my voices, the ukulele being a blackbird, and then obviously the harmonium. But we've got 2 additional blackbirds today. Well, this could be a blackbird, I think, but I'm not sure.
There's a fat pigeon over here.
The fat pigeon, fat pigeon on the end. Don't take that the wrong way, JP. We mean it in the nicest possible way, I think. So we're going to play you. We're going to play you the Hour of the Blackbird.
now the thought of rain, and hail the robin king again.
The hour of the blackbird.
Fat pigeon and beautiful blackbird, everybody. The gag's just going to run and run. So, doesn't time fly when you're having fun, guys? And we are having a heck of a lot of fun up here. This is so amazing. Evan Carson, would you like to come back to the stage, sir?
Welcome back, Evan Carson.
So look, we're going to finish this first half with a song inspired by Dorset. If you know us even remotely well, you'll know that we take a huge amount of inspiration from Dorset's history and folklore, and also the Dorset landscape itself. So much so, in fact, that we've written books of musical walks. So you can travel through the landscape that's inspired the songs that we write. And we also happen to run musical walking holidays here in Dorset, where you can come to the landscape that inspires us, this wonderful, wonderful county. And basically, you can come walking with us during the day, eat beautiful food, and see some of the UK's top folk musicians in concerts in the evening. And these boys are going to be here as well, because in a rare, well, I say rare, it's never ever happened before, a semi-acoustic appearance of the Nine Barrow Band will be taking place as part of these holidays. So do look that up if you're interested. But I'm going to get this in tune while Jay introduces the next song.
So yeah, this next song is called For a Time, and it is about a place right on the south coast of the Purbeck Hills called Tyneham. And these days it's a ruined village. For many generations it was a perfectly working, lived-in village, and it had been for many generations. But in the middle of World War II, the Ministry of Defence, they decided that Tyneham would be the perfect place. Oh no, maybe not Tyneham itself. The Purbeck Hills would be the perfect place for a firing range for their new tanks. But Tyneham was a little bit close to everything that was going on, and they decided that it would be best for everybody concerned if the villagers cleared out of the village.
Off you trot, I think, is they probably didn't put it in those terms. They said, do your duty. Do your duty for the war effort. And of course, that's exactly what they did, but with the promise that they would get their homes back at the end of the war. And as you can possibly imagine, it didn't happen, because the Ministry of War, as it was then known, decided that they actually rather liked their tank firing range, and it's still there today. And if you go walking, the new walking book that's hopefully going to come out next year. We were doing one of the proof walks up there, and we were pretty close to where the tanks fire. We were just outside the range, and my
duck
goodness,
and cover time when you hear
when
those
those
noises
shells
going
go
off.
off, you feel it. So they clearly couldn't stay, but they felt very, very betrayed that this sacrifice that they have made was not honoured. And so this is a song about that.
house was scarred and tumbled down. We stopped to talk about his town for a time. Given first our only sons to foreign fields and distant guns, then gave the very land you see assured that he would only be for a time. Guarantees I played my part to keep you free for a time. For a time, everybody. Oh, wowzers. We've reached the end of the first half. How about that? So look, our gigs, our online gigs, work exactly like our offline gigs.
Exactly.
In that there is a first half
and a second half.
And in between those halves, you can do whatever you like. You can go and wash the dishes if you want to. You can recharge your glass.
Frankly, I would do something more exciting than wash the dishes. It would involve going to the fridge.
Probably, yeah.
And getting another cold one. So we'll probably go and get a cup of tea, and we'll see you in 20 minutes.
See you later.
You can see why we've been quite excited about this, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes, we've been sat on this for about 2 months now, waiting to share it with you all. It's had a lot of prep involved since we actually filmed it.
We actually filmed this across 5 days. We filmed the church show, 2 days doing that. We had a day off, and then 2 days filming this with the boys down at the theatre.
It was busy.
It was a pretty busy 5 days, but it's so been worth it. It feels like this concert has been a part of my life now for a ridiculously long. I'm not sure what I'm going to do once this evening is over, to be honest.
He'll find more work for us, don't worry. He will find more projects, I'm quite sure of that.
More harebrained schemes in the future. Oh,
but there's more of that show to come. We've got a little break first of all. Now, it's become a bit of a tradition over the last year of our lockdown concerts that I put on a little slideshow over Dorset pictures for you all to savour and to peruse during the halftime break. And it'll be a bit different this time. Rather than my photos, there's actually going to be some from our good friend Greg Fennell, who took us out on a bit of a photo shoot a couple of months ago.
He's a good mate of ours.
He's a good egg.
He's done all of our photo shoots all the way back to our very first one. Usually we only get to spend a day with Greg doing a very limited number of shots. And we had the privilege this time around, the luxury, yes, of getting to spend 2 days with this wonderful guy, and we went to various locations, and we're going to share some of those shots with you. They're shots that are going to be used kind of as part of the album inlay, but also as part of the songbook for the new album, and also for the new walking book that's coming out next year. So we really hope you like them.
Yeah. And we haven't forgotten, by the way, we normally do a few birthday and anniversary shout-outs at this particular point.
Yes, but, there's a technical reason why we're not going to do those now, and we're going to do them at the beginning of the Q&A. It's a long and boring technical thing, which we might tell you about later. But suffice it to say, they are coming. So if we promised you a shout-out, we will make sure that happens after the second half. It would be remiss of us, I think, if we weren't to say, did you know the last Christmas post goes on the 21st of December? Because what we're about to say in our slideshow, which is also filled with wonderful photographs, but also some merchandising opportunities should you wish to avail yourselves of them.
Just imagine us sort of standing at the merch table at a gig. Just,
awkwardly standing at the merchandise table, hoping you were going to come over and buy a CD. If you are looking for some lovely gifts, there is still time, ladies and gentlemen. And if you order before the end of the 20th, we will make sure they're in the post and with you in time for Christmas. So, without further ado, I think we'll hand over to the halftime slideshow. 20 minutes for you to go and grab another drink, and we'll see you on the other side.
See you soon.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
We hope you had a lovely break and that the glasses are fully charged for the second half. You might notice we've given the band a slightly extra break.
They deserved an extra break.
They've been working very hard, they have. We're going to sing you a duo song to open this second half, and it's called A Pocket Full of Acorns.
And it's going to be, this is the title track of our new album, ladies and gents. As I said in the first half, it was we'll be releasing it in March. But this particular song was inspired by a trip up to the north of England, and there is a beautiful National Trust lighthouse up there with all the info that they usually put in the NT properties, don't they? It's always a very informative trip out. But we learnt about this chap called Vice Admiral Cuthbert Collingwood, who we hadn't heard of before in our ignorance, but he was actually quite an important person, as it turns out, and he was second in command to Lord Nelson
At the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yeah.
But when he wasn't being second in command to Lord Nelson at the Battle of Trafalgar, he would spend his time walking through the Northumberland countryside, a pocket filled with acorns. And wherever he found bare earth, he would press an acorn into it in the hope that it would grow into an oak tree one day, because he'd identified a problem for future generations in that the Royal Navy were cutting down more mature oak trees than were being planted. And so he felt that future generations would suffer because of that, because the security of the nation would be tested when they were no longer able to build ships. And we thought it was such an amazing spirit of forward-thinkingness that he kind of deserved a song. And we have quite an exciting announcement, actually, because
We've been teasing this particular announcement for a good few months now.
we have been teasing this one, but we just haven't been certain that we were going to be able to pull it off. But we have now had the green light. As part of the launch for this album, we're going to plant a woodland. Now, this is because, not only because of the title of the song, but we have long had concerns about our carbon footprint as a band. We do over 10.
In a normal
year, we would do over 10,000 miles a year in touring, and that would generate nearly 4 tons of CO2 a year, and that in itself is quite frightening. But we actually sat down to work out how much CO2 our audiences, on average, would generate by driving to a gig. And there was a spreadsheet and everything. It was very, very complicated. And it turns out that across a year, it's around about 40 tons of CO2 for our audiences. And we've long wanted to try and offset that somehow. And we came up with this idea of planting a woodland. And we've got a piece of land that's owned by some of Jay's family, and we've applied for a grant to the Woodland Trust. And the Woodland Trust are going to fund 75% of the planting of 1,200 trees, which we've calculated will offset all of our carbon emissions back to when we first started gigging as a duo back in 2012, all the way to the end of our careers, maybe in 25 years, assuming we manage to go that long.
And it will cover our carbon footprint, but also your lot as well, if you come to see our gigs.
So when you can come to see us in a face-to-face gig in the future, if you've got to do it in a car, you'll know that we've offset your carbon for that trip. So it's really exciting. There's more information about that coming soon. But this is a song about the spirit of forward-thinkingness. So it's called A Pocket Full of Acorns.
The pine trees grow in tidy rows, all trained towards the distant sky. And in a blink, they're tall enough for man's needs to supply. But soft, swift flesh it cannot last, so brisk and nimble was the and quickly as a mood or thought, the tender wood is lost to time. And I have a pocket full of acorns, I hold the mighty oak tree in my hand. the future of these lands. When the robin's young is fledged and flown, the magnolia tree with knotted limb extends to us a pretty promise, all attention paid to him. But to reach and touch this promise is to break his beguiling spell, to see behind the blossom the crooked wood he sells. And I have a pocket full of echoes. I hold the mighty oak tree in my hands, and with every seed I sow, the future of these lands. Now the old oaks of the forest, they've seen their share of winter's cold, drank their fill of summer storms, and listened to life's stories told. Their roots grow deep in English earth, they twist and braid our country's past. With timber strong, they'll guard our future, beam and bow and deck and mast. And I have a pocket full of echoes. I hold the mighty oak tree in my hands, and with every seed I sow, the future of these lands. And with every seed I sow, the future of these lands.
Thank you, everybody.
I think it's time to welcome the boys
I
back
think
to the
it is. They should get
stage,
back on
everybody.
stage, guys. Come on.
Come back on
Come
and
back
join us.
Evan, JP, and Lee. Thank you, guys. Welcome back.
Trees have many uses, don't they? They provide us with our oxygen, and they can also be used for hanging people from. Did you like that segue, everybody? Would you like to hear a hanging song, everybody?
Well, we've got two in this particular set, so you're in luck.
You're in luck. We're going to sing you a song called 13 Turns. This is a song, I have to say, as a duo, we don't gig this much anymore because, frankly, these boys have ruined it. We enjoy playing it so much as a band that when we go back to playing it as a duo, we're just kind of like,
It just doesn't cut it anymore.
it's just not the same anymore. So it's really, really fun to be able to play with these boys. But it's a pretty dark song, this one. It's about a woman falsely accused of a crime. And she's the healer for the village. And when something goes wrong, this murder is committed, they need someone to pin it on. And they don't really understand her. They don't understand her trade, for a start. They don't understand how she heals people, and therefore she's kind of akin to a witch. And so it's her that they're going to blame this on. And through no fault of her own, she finds herself being taken up to Gallows Hill, where the hangman is tying a noose with 13 turns in it, because supposedly 13 turns was reserved for someone who'd done something particularly evil. And as she walks up this track, she looks to either side and sees the faces of all the people that she's helped over the years, and reflects on the fact that her fortunes have just flipped completely in such a short space of time. Yeah, this is 13 Turns.
Some walk miles to seek me out, to take away their ills, their pain. But now they walk to gallows hill, to see me hanging in wind and rain. That woman with the bright blue eyes, hate and fear upon her face. I helped her birth her only son. She clutches now in fierce embrace. Take her to the gallows hill, the modern rain and evening chill. Fold the rope with double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Walk up barefoot up the track, below a stone glass swelling black. Fold the rope with double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Last month the fever gripped him tight. The willow bark I offered kept him safe and saw him through the night. Take her to the gallows hill, modern rain and evening chill. Fold her rope with double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Walk her barefoot up the track, below the storm clouds swelling black. Fold the rope with double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Snowdrops dry, but now he comes to watch me swing. Take her to the gallows hill, the modern rain and evening chill. Fold a rope and double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Walk her barefoot up the track, below the storm clouds swelling black. Fold a rope and double bite, 13 turns now make it tight. Some walk miles to seek me out, to take away their ills, their pain. But now they walk to gallows hill, to see me hanging in wind and rain.
Thank you.
13 turns.
I think it might be time to liven it up a little bit for this next one, to lighten
You
the
think?
mood somewhat after that particular song. But we'll sing you a song called Weave Her a Garland now. I don't think we've actually asked you guys at home whether you'd like to sing along with us so far this gig, but
Goes without saying.
it goes without saying. If you want to sing along as loud as you can in your living room, that's absolutely fine, or wherever you might be, if you, not in your living room. Yeah, this one has a chorus. It goes, I'll weave her a garland, a fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodowndillies. I'll weave her a garland, a fresh blooming garland, a garland I'll give to the one I adore.
And I think I'm in tune. How about
Hey.
that? Someone was asking us at the last gig, I do hope with these pre-recorded shows you're not going to cut out all the tuning. I thought that was a slightly
Really?
strange thing to request, to be honest, but there you go.
Punishment right there.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
How sweet are the flowers that grow by the fountain. How sweet are the cowslips that spangle the grove. More sweet is the breeze that blows over the mountains, but none are so sweet as the charms of my love. No, for a garland, the fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodowndillies. For a garland, a fresh blooming garland, a garland I'll give to the one I adore. The blackbirds and thrushes, they rise in the morning. Now softly they play their sweet notes by the grove. Although it is pleasing, delightful and charming to reach the fond sighs of the one that I love. And I'll weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodowndillies. I'll weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garland, a garland I'll give to the one I adore. It was down in the vale, my sweetheart was walking. How happy I'd be to stand by her again. If she should prove false, give her heart to another. For me to sing pleasure, it would be in vain. And I'll weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garland of roses and lilies and daffodowndillies. I'll weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to the one I adore. Weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden of roses and lilies and daffodowndillies. I'll weave for a garden, a fresh blooming garden, a garland I'll give to the one I adore.
Thank you very much indeed.
That's a nice song to sing, isn't it? We like that one.
It is. What's up next?
We got Under the Fence, John.
Have we?
So that was a little sort of palate cleanser of happy sweetness going on. Before we get to another song on our new album, ladies and gents, but another semi-dark one. We do have some hope and faith in humanity, but sometimes from the from the sound of our songs.
Well, they veer. I think there have been points over the last 9 months where we've had gigs where we've done we've done totally happy gigs with no sad songs at all, and then at the end of it we've gone, my goodness, that was happy for a folk gig. We should do that more often. And then you find out that you've actually left all of the miserable songs and you've got to jam them all into one gig. That's not today, though, I don't think. But yeah, this is a song inspired by the migration crisis. I mean, if you've seen us do a live show at any point in the last 2 years, you probably have heard this song in some form, because we wrote this a few years ago. When I suppose I would say that the migration crisis, the refugee crisis, was at its peak, or at least I thought it was at its peak. Although, I mean, more recently, our TV screens have been filled with, horrendous pictures at the Moria camp in Lesbos, being burnt down, and it reminds you that actually this is still going on, and it is still a massive, massive problem for many, many people around the world. And this song really is about that, but was inspired by the Calais refugee camp when it was there, and a young girl who appeared in a documentary, who was giving this guided tour to a journalist, and I found her kind of sunny disposition so at odds with the backdrop of the squalor that she was experiencing in this refugee camp. It was such a contrast that it did lead me to ask the question, did she truly understand the gravity of the situation that she was in? And I got thinking maybe she was just being shielded from it by the people who loved her. And sure enough, the next part of this documentary, she introduces the journalist to her where she's living, which was a tent, and to her family and to her parents. And you could immediately see that the gravity of the situation was not lost on her parents, who frankly looked like they were carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. And it's that little tableau, really, that inspired this song. And it's called Under the Fence.
My hat is frozen to my head. My heart is like a lump of lead. We're stranded out here, half starved, half dead, standing under the fence. Oh, let her in. The man, he cried, it's a cold, heavy, windy night. Oh, let her in. The man, he cried, won't you open up and let her in? Oh, 3, 4. 4,000 miles of foreign lands, we brave the roads, the cedar sands, while politicians wash their hands, standing under the fence. Oh, let her in. The man, he cried, it's a cold, heavy, windy night. Oh, let her in. The man, he cried, won't you open up and let her in? Oh, in a freezing tent, the girl, she sleeps while muddy snow around her heaps, and his misery was cold and deep, standing under the fence. So let her in. The man, he cried, it's a cold, heavy, windy night. Oh, let her in. The man, he cried, won't you open up and let her in? Oh, but the girl still dreams of friends and school, but life is harsh and fate is cruel. Methinks no one should have dreams at the fading light down to watch her walk. She sleeps tonight, standing under the fence. So let her in the man, he cried, it's a cold, haily, windy night. Oh, let her in the man, he cried, won't you open up and let her in? Oh, my hat is frozen to my head. My heart is like a lump of lead. We're stranded out here, half starved, half dead, standing under the fence. Oh,
Thank you, everybody.
Under the Fence. So, we're going to sing you quite an old one. We don't sing this very often. Ev's going to have another rest. We're going to give you another quartet.
He's gone already.
He's gone. He disappeared.
In a flash.
He really wants that cup of tea. We're under Silent Prayer is a pretty old nine-barrow song, inspired not by Dorset for once. We do occasionally.
Other counties are available.
We do occasionally sing about other places. This is inspired by the New Forest, so Hampshire-based, and there's a couple of songs we've written inspired by the Nightwood oak to keep the oak theme running through this set. The Nightwood oak is meant to be the oldest tree in the New Forest, and we wrote a song called Nightwood about a girl who lives through this shipbuilding period that Lord Admiral Cuthbert Collingwood was planting his oak trees up north through. And she too was watching the New Forest be cut down so that those mature oak trees could be harvested to service the Royal Navy. But this one oak tree seems to remain untouched, and it's her favourite place to visit as she thinks about her lover out on one of the ships that's built from this New Forest oak. Unhelpfully, we're not actually going to sing you that song, but we're going to sing you
its brother song.
the brother song about the chap out on the ship built from New Forest oak, thinking about his lover,
Longing to be home.
sitting in this woodland glade. It's called Silent Prayer.
Return brave and bold, bringing stories and gold. And I will build you that home from good hardwood and stone. Dipping proud, small oval house on these wretched waves, and the sloping bars were driven fast through bitter rain. Silent prayer, and I will buy you a stitched with flowers around. And I will ask for your hand in the chapel will stand. And the stepping crown, small rope hours on these wretched ways. So in must be driven fast through bitter air. In silent prayer. And in the forests, cool shade will walk up to that glade. To that tree that you love, green and silver above. Stepping crown, small opal hours on these wretched ways. And so it must be driven fast through bitter air. Inside a breath.
It's lovely to play that song again. Oh my God, I love playing that with you boys so much. That's another song you've ruined. Thank you, JP and Lee. Right, we're going to welcome Evan back to the stage.
go on,
everybody.
Evan.
Hurrah!
Because I do believe that we're getting to the end of the evening, guys.
We may have reached the last song of the evening. It's the whole. Everyone knew how the encore thing worked when it was an offline gig because we'd walk on and walk back off again, and now it's inverted commas that we use to indicate that there might just be another song if we hear you clapping loud enough from wherever it is you're listening. So, how about another nice dark one to finish off with?
Shall we? Let's. Yeah.
A little cheery number called "Blood on the Hillside." Everybody, how about that? I think if you have seen us before, and we know some people are joining us for the first time today. So if you are watching Nine Barrow for the first time,
Welcome.
thanks for taking a punt. It's really good to see you. And if you're here, if you've joined us for all of our online concerts, thanks for your continued support. But yeah, this is a song inspired by, well, a hill next door to our namesake hill, which is Nine Barrow Down. You might not know that if you're seeing us for the first time, but we're named after a Dorset hill with 9 burial mounds, although apparently there's about 26 burial mounds up there. But only
And yet you can only actually count 8 of them, because there's definitely not 9 actual hills on top of this particular bit.
But anyway, that's what we're named after. But next door to this hill, there's one called Ballard Down. And Ballard Down, on a very, very cold autumn day is where Jay and I found ourselves. Nobody else for miles, couldn't see anybody else out there.
It's too foggy.
Yeah, like it was a real misty day, wasn't it? And we got to the top of this hill, slate grey sky, wind kind of biting through the coat you'd put on. And in the branches of one of those amazing windswept hawthorn trees you get out on that part of the coast, there were these 7 crows perched there kind of ominously looking down at us. And it was quite eerie, to be honest. And it got us thinking about the One for Sorrow, Two for Joy nursery rhyme, which we are aware and have been told many times is about magpies. We know that. Just give us a little bit of artistic license in this regard. So we started writing the song right there on that hillside. And as we walked down towards Old Harry Rocks, along the top of Ballard Down, and then around to the Banks Arms for a pint, we crafted this song, and we just used little things in the landscape, like the mist, the circle of stones that's not too far away, various bits and bobs, and concocted a story of dastardly murder, because, well, it's a folk song, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got have we had any murder yet?
We've had it's been a pretty dark set, actually, John,
Have we
this particular
actually had
set.
any murders?
Oh,
Okay, sorry, someone was hung. Yeah, all right, fair point. I'm glad you're paying attention. There will be a test later. So anyway, it starts with a murder, and the locals believe that this has been committed by a coven of witches who live locally, and those witches, in order to escape justice, have changed their form into birds, and that's where they find them, in this tree. So you'll know this chorus because it is that nursery rhyme. So if you fancy singing along at home, please do join in. Blood on the Hillside.
Secrets not to
to say some pretty enormous thank yous, to be honest. First of all, can we say a massive thank you to Paul Coxon, lighting up the stage tonight. We've got Richard Hewlett sorting out our on-stage sound. Thank you to our producers Mark Tucker and Matt Taylor, bringing the audio to you tonight. And then to the band, a massive thank you to Lee Mackenzie on the cello, JP John Parker on the bass, and Evan Carson on the percussion. I'm Jay, and this is John, and we hope that you've enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching, for all of your support through this weird year. Have a wonderful 2021, and we'll see you soon. Lots of love. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to these guys once again.
You'd like another one, though, wouldn't you? We're going to assume you want another one, to be honest. Well, frankly, you get one whether you like it or
Yes.
not. And we're going to finish with the Prickle Eye Bush, which we know many of you love it, and many of you hate us when we don't play it at the end of a gig.
We get lots of angry messages if we don't play this particular song at the end of a gig. So, yeah.
We do, really. That's not a lie. It has been such a pleasure. I mean, we've said it already, but your support over the last 9 months, whether it was, donations when we started our first ones in our dining room, we then migrated to the living room a few times, we then migrated to a field in North Dorset, then a church.
And now Lighth0use
Poole. And we must say a huge thank you to the team here at Lighth0use Poole who've looked after us marvellously and let us into their wonderful, wonderful theatre. Live music is going through a tough time. Everybody knows it. And whatever you can do to support live music in your area, go and find the online gigs that are happening. If you're comfortable going to socially distanced concerts, go and support them, because if we don't, there's going to be a lot of venues that aren't going to be here in 2021, and we want places like Lighth0use Poole and so many others around the country to be thriving when this pandemic is a distant memory. But for now, we're going to finish with the Prickle Eye Bush. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, the prickle eye bush, it breaks my heart full so. And if ever I get out of this prickle eye bush, I never will get in it anymore. Oh, hangman, stay your hand, or stay it for a while, for I think I see my mother coming over yonder stile. Mother, have you brought me gold or silver to set me free, or to save my body from the cold, cold ground and my neck from the gallows tree? Oh, no, I haven't brought you gold or silver to set you free, for to save your body from the cold, cold ground and your neck from the gallows tree. Oh, the prickle eye bush, it breaks my heart full sore. Oh, and if ever I get out in this prickle eye bush, I never will get in it anymore. And if ever I get out in this prickle eye bush, I never will get in it anymore. Oh, hangman, stay your hand, or stay it for a while, for I think I see my sister coming over yonder stile. Oh, sister, have you brought me gold or silver to set me free, for to save my body from the cold, cold pound and my neck from the gallows tree? No, I haven't brought you gold or silver to set you free, for to save your body from the cold, cold ground and your neck from the gallows tree. Oh, the prickle eye bush, it breaks my heart full sore. Oh,
the sea, my own true love, coming over yonder sky. Oh, true love, have you brought me gold or silver to set me free, or to save my body from the cold, cold ground I'm at, from the gallows tree? Oh yes, I have brought you gold and silver to set you free, or to save your body from the cold, cold ground and from the gallows tree. Oh, the brick of my bush, it breaks my heart full sorrow, and down and down in this prickly bush, I never will get in it anymore. And down and down in this prickly bush, I never will get in it anymore. Thanks again to these wonderful boys, and thanks to you for watching. And now that I'm out of this prickly bush, now that I'm out of this prickly bush, now that I'm out of this prickly bush, I never will get in it anymore. And now that I'm out of this prickly bush, now that I'm out of this prickly bush, now that I'm out of this prickly bush, I never will get in it anymore. Never will get in it anymore. Never will get in it anymore. Now that I'm out of this prickly bush, never will get in it anymore. Never will get in it anymore. Never will get in it anymore. Now that I'm out of this prickly bush, never will get in it anymore. 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 Now that I'm out of this prickly bush, I never will get in it anymore.
Thank you so much for listening this evening, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful end to 2020. Have a brilliant 2021. And we'll see you on the other side, everybody. Should we do one more bow?
Shall we?
Let's do one more bow. Yeah, go on.
Everybody up.
3, 2, 1. Take care. See you soon.
Well, there you go.
That, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our musical output for the year 2020.
The strangest year on record. Oh my goodness.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, hopefully it was worth the wait. It's been a lot of fun putting it together. And, you know, we must extend our thanks again, not only to the guys in the band, but also our producer, Mark, and his assistant, Matt, who, after that show, like us, have been working for weeks putting the audio together. And I think you'll agree they've both done an incredible job. Mark is long-suffering when it comes to Nine Barrow. He's in the space of a few months, he recorded a studio album with us, and then he recorded that. So he's probably been living on a rather more of a diet of Nine Barrow than perhaps he might have enjoyed, I think. But it's been an amazing process putting it together. But the show is not over, everybody. There is more, because, as you'll know, we've got a live Q&A coming up. The Q&A after the church show, we had no idea what that was going to be like. We had no idea if anyone was going to submit any questions. We got so many we didn't get through them. But the good news is,
The tankard of truth is still full.
the tankard of truth has
a
still
sparkly
got...
partridge.
Is
it a partridge?
I'm pretty sure it's a robin, isn't it?
It's a Christmas decoration. It's not.
This behind us is our attempt at Christmas decorations.
Don't tell them that, John. That's pathetic.
You can't fit a lot into the shot. That's the problem.
We've got there's a 20-foot massive Christmas fir tree over there in the
just out of shot. It's the biggest Christmas tree you've ever seen in
festive.
your life. So no, you're gonna have to make do with the old sparkly partridge. How about that? But we are going to be having the live Q&A. In the not too distant future. Now we've got to let you in on a little secret. If you saw our Wandering Minstrel show last month, you'll know that where we live in Dorset, we're experiencing some broadband related issues. Everybody, the network is creaking under the working from home, I think, that everybody's doing. And what it means is our connection speed is doing this at the moment, which meant that for the band show, we broadcast it as a YouTube premiere rather than in the way we would usually stream it, which is direct from here to you.
We have now switched providers, but they've not connected us.
They've not connected us yet. We're still waiting. We're not mentioning any names here, but if you want to know which broadband providers to avoid, just hit us up with a message and we'll let you know. But essentially, the Q&A is going to be absolutely live. But what we can't do, because of a technicality, we can't broadcast that Q&A within the stream that you're receiving at the moment. So what we're going to do is the concert stream is going to end in a moment. And after we fade out, we're going to leave some instructions up on the screen as to how you can access the Q&A. It is ultra easy. If you're watching this via our website, i.e. you're doing it on your computer or your tablet or your phone, the Q&A is also on that page and it's ready to go. All you got to do is click play and the stream will be live. We're going to give people 5 minutes to switch over because asking you to get there instantly, I mean, we're already sat in front of the camera, so it's quite nice and easy. But you guys might just need some time to get another drink and get that sorted. If you're watching on your smart TV, similarly, if you're doing that through the YouTube app, it is ultra easy. All you have to do is type into the search bar 9Barrow. No codes, no 8-digit pins or anything like that. We are just going to broadcast that publicly, so it's very, very easy to jump on straight away. We really hope you'll join us. We've got some cracking questions to go through.
And we've also got...
Yes.
We've got a little trailer for next year's show.
This has also become a bit of a tradition. At the end of one show, we trail the next one. And we have got an announcement about our next live stream gig, the first one of 2021. So if that's not reason to jump over onto the other stream, I feel like the BBC now. We're now going to be saying goodbye to viewers on the live stream, and we're now going to be jumping over to the Q&A. So we'll really hope to see you in just about 5 minutes.